So, this is going to be our stream for the day. It is going to be the opening match that we cast is the first, the first match you'll find on the Wikipedia page for this event. In terms of a qualifying matchup, it is Reynor versus Bunny. It's GSL Qualifiers. This is from GSL Season 2 Qualifiers. So in the top right-hand side, the red Terran player is Bunny. Taking on the blue Zerg. In the bottom left from Basilisk, it is Rainor. Well, Reynor's out in Korea. Well, that is why he's able to partake in these qualifiers. So expecting him to be a force to be reckoned with in this upcoming season of GSL. Should he make it in, he obviously wants to look a little bit better and hotter than he did last time. And in that previous season of GSL he played in, he got eliminated by Bunny in some cheeky little 2-base all-ins, didn't he? So I imagine that Reynor is going to be out for vengeance. And you know what? Qualifier is already a chance to make a bit of a statement, you know, to shut a couple people up. You know, there's some big yappers who are talking their talk when Reynor got knocked out GSL last time around. But I think Reynor is ready to shut a couple people up this season. So it'll be fun to see how it all turns out. And like I say, this is his qualifying match in. All bunnies as well, obviously, if Reynor loses here. So we have access to all the qualifying matchups. So if Reynor loses here, it means we get to see another of his attempts of qualifying in. And if Bunny loses here, we'll potentially see another one of his, depending on what the matchup is. We might cast that. We might not. Obviously, we'll probably cast all the Reynor games. Bunny, one of the guys, sometimes we take him or we leave him. He's kind of an undercover Terran player in this day and age. You know, he doesn't play in everything. But he still plays GSL consistently. And he plays in online cups here and there, you know? Like, it's not all the time. Like I say, it's definitely a here and a there kind of situation where it's like, it's some of the time, you'll spot his name, but he won't be in absolutely everything. There was actually a period where he did not play in any, I really do mean like any of the online events, which was a little bit surprising because like everyone plays in at least like he wasn't even playing in like the Kung Fu Cup, which was like big prize money last year. So it was kind of wild to see that he was just like sitting out from everything, but he was still playing and being part of GSL, which obviously is then even more surprising because you're seeing a guy that's capable of doing it all in GSL, winning a bunch of matches, and he's just decided not to win money anywhere else in other events. It was a little bit of a crazy time. As you see our Reaper showing up, and that will start to put some damage out. So a few shots going out, some damage being done here early on. Nothing too major. Let's do have ourselves the... Well, I mean, Reaper, I was just trying to find everything that I can for the early stages. The more it gets, the happier it will generally be. Does not want to actually go down to this Queen. I was going to say, make sure we keep out of range there, because the Reaper is in currently the process of regenerating. The last thing you want to do is have a Reaper regenerate and then have it reset and potentially lose the Reaper to a Queen that slowly wandered off a creep. That would have been a painful mistake, but it does not happen like that, so we are good. And the third hatchery of Rainor is already seen. You see a couple of aliens on the way out from Bunny as well, so he prepped with that. Gets those out, and obviously that will allow him to control the map a little bit more easily in the future as well. That will be his next stage of map control here. Any map control you hold in that regard is obviously typically going to be pretty darn good as well. Now the Reaver moves up, a little grenade goes down, Queen pulls back. Banshee and a couple more Hellions are continuing through. The cloaking will start as well. And that is going to mean that the Banshees are already getting themselves set up, ready to start right now. So we got that up and running. Obviously with the Banshee, again, very harassment focused early, but then we are going to go into that stim. So it is going to be a bio-based follow-up. We are going to be seeing this bio as the next step of it all, so it's not going to be too surprising in the end. I mean, we kind of expected kind of bio as the most common way to play. That is exactly what we head into for now, so we can get that ready to rumble. And still just Hellions out on the map, just being pretty passive as well, just holding bout, keeping some map control. Again, pretty, you know, uninspiring stuff from the Hellions. They just sit there and they wait. It is the right stuff, you know, no need to go diving in. Keep some creep tumors back when you can. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with the way in which Bunny is approaching this for the early stages at least. 2 more Hellions going through the watchtower there. And again, just the Rotron coming up from Rainor, so we're actually going to be seeing him starting to make some tech choices as well. Putting that Rotron down. That's 4 additional barracks come up from Bunny, so we get all of those up and running. dance a little bit with these Queens and these Hellions, so a bit of back and forth between the two. Again, nothing really too crazy. The Queens obviously just want to push the Hellions back. The Hellions will just try and trade out a little bit wherever they can. There's that Banshee showing up as well, just going to hit this base. I mean, not a terrible first grab, and that's a kill, not a cancel, so that is goodbye fourth base. So Reynor delayed on the fourth, cost him some money, going to lose those active tumors as well. Now, of course, that's just energy to replace, but it steps in the right direction from Bunny again. At least seeds being planted. And then you want to try and let these grow into something, right? If you can keep that map control and that creep spread down, it really lets your future attacks kind of have success, for example. So there's a lot of potential there. There's a lot of hope to, you know, again, control the map, and then the bigger pushes can have a much easier time further down the line. We did actually cancel Cloak, just the single Banshee, so not going to double down into that kind of continued harassment or anything. As the Hellions get a few more Zerglings. Now Marines showing up as well, and this is where we will see Reynor already running into some of this Bunny aggression. The 4th and 5th racks came in. This means that this is going to be this full 2-base commitment, and this is where Reynor needs to start prepping himself. This is exactly the sort of thing that Bunny did to win out when they played back in the previous season of not previous season, but the last time that Reynor played in GSL was not last season, obviously it was a year or two back. But yeah, this kind of aggression, right, where it's like 2-base, very heavy commitment, you've got barracks that don't have add-ons, but you just try and hit very crisp, clean timings off of a very passive opening. You know, like you put on some pressure, but you don't ever look to trade too much because you just want to come with as many units as possible. Now, Roaches can be very good against these kind of attacks because they have that bulk to them, but you really do need to hit the right amount of Roaches, otherwise they just get overrun too easily. One more gets sieged, a few Marines will settle down on the edge of creep here. We are scanning and picking off even more of these creep tumors, so more of this creep getting picked away at. Still got that Roach speed coming up, a Carapace upgrade coming on the Evo Chamber, Roach Ravager all coming through. It's additional Marines on the way from Bunny as well. Still just cranking off the 2 bases again. That's 5 racks, but 2 of them do not even have add-ons, so we're just committing to as much production as we can get right now. Tanks are huge in this scenario because of the Roaches. You need that tank splash to likely soften up the Roach shell. And if you can soften up those Roach kind of balls, you can then absolutely engage in with the bio and trade very well from there. The problem is the Marines against Roaches, without the Roaches taking any splash, it just takes them so long to chew through each and every single Roach. The Roaches really can't survive for long enough, draw out the fight, and that's not really what Bunny wants, as the SCVs are arriving. So it is very much so going to be go time from Bunny in the very near future. Whereas the files are going to go down, but they only hit 1 Marine. They're just trying to slow the army from moving up the ramp. Rainor evacuates this base. Meanwhile, no, it's just, yeah, I was going to say, I thought this was a drop or something. It's just an Overseer. I was going to say, meanwhile, then nothing happens on Bunny's side, but nothing needs to happen on Bunny's side of the map because the SCVs are here anyway. I think Reynor, I mean, he gives up that 3rd base, but I don't hate it because his opponent's essentially given up natural location mining because the SCVs are on this side of the map. So he is still mining 1 more base than your opponent. The biggest issue for Reynor might be production, because after losing the hatchery, you're going to have less production available to you. He got a good dive on these tanks. He got on top of them quickly as the Marines stem in. I mean, it looks okay, but then you realize it's going to be more and more reinforcements still pouring out, as Reynor has not skipped a beat macro-wise, and he is going to have so many Roaches. That's going to be it from Bunny. I do not think you recover from a situation like that one. Not without Reynor like running very badly into siege tanks, I would say. I mean, at this point, you're really looking for Reynor to make some big, probably engagements, so micro-based errors. That is where we pretty much stand at the moment. Then there's 1 medevac. Goes out along the left, 2 medevacs down to the bottom, 16 Marines inside. Can Koreans enter ESL EU? No. ESL is a regional-based tournament where you can participate from anywhere, but you have to be from the region to be able to participate, you know? Or have moved there, I guess, and are living there. If you don't have citizenship or so. How come Reynor can enter both? Because GSL decided that they didn't want to make their tournament Korean only. They wanted it to be worldwide access, so... at the end of the day, they're just not equivalent tournaments, you know? I mean, they kind of are in a way, like, GSL kind of is the Korea regional, but... You know, if ESL ran a Korean regional, say GSL doesn't exist next year, then Reynor would not be allowed to partake, right? Like, it's just run by other people, so... It's just run by other people, but they just use it as the Korean portion of the ESL Pro Tour, essentially. Because it is dominated enough by Koreans that it's not a problem. Now, if everyone, you know, if all of the... say somehow all the best non-Koreans in the world went to Korea, and none of the Koreans got to play in GSL or something, then it might be a problem, but... Yeah. Take the question because obviously this game is not really looking up to much for Bunny. He's got one more army. I mean, he may as well stay in it. Give it a shot, but I think he knows as well himself. His chances are pretty much just shot already. I mean, he has very limited mining. His mining really comes from the fact his main base is mining out, so that's now the natural able to mine again. We don't even have an armor upgrade. It's just +1 attack, so we don't even have +1 carapace. So you're down +1 armor, so you're down an upgrade as well. The armor upgrade is there for the Zerg. I'm just going to pull the SCVs one more time, just to check, hey, maybe if he's going overly heavy on tech and if he's made a few too many drones, maybe there's a world in which this can work, but Reynor comes in from every angle. The corrosive powers land slap bang in the middle of the siege tanks to knock them down immediately, and there's going to be a convincing defense from Reynor, which was obviously kind of seen coming. We very much so knew that this should be the case, and it was the case. Reynor goes up 1-0 in this best of 3. I don't think that should have been allowed in a tournament that gives out ESL points, especially when it's like one group stage into a bracket. I really don't think that should be allowed in like officially EPT events. Like if you want to make a tournament like that, that's cool. I think that should have been against EPT rules personally. Top left hand side, Red Terran player down a game, tries the 2-baser in game number 1, does not get enough going. It is going to be Bunny. In the bottom right, our blue Zerg is Reynor. Dropping the pool first. You like Home Story Cup picking groups? Home Story Cup would be the perfect event to pick groups at. People could just sit down and be like, yeah, I want this guy, you know? And then also, like, Home Story Cup is not serious enough that if people got shafted by group selection, they could just be like, oh, well, you know what? It's still Home Story. The problem with that is, obviously, for Home Story Cup, like, a lot of players, they need to know the groups beforehand because a lot of scheduling and stuff goes into it, so it's kind of important to kind of know the groups early. Compared to the, maybe in the past it would have been good, but maybe not so. I mean, it's just so difficult nowadays. You could pick it online, I know, but then it's so much less fun, right? Like, I feel like the fun of it, like, even for GSL group selections, the part of it I liked was, you know, watching the show and watching Mario be like, well, I just think this guy's crap. And everyone, they ask the guy and they're like, yeah, I don't know why Mario's picking on me. And Mario's just like shrugging in the corner. And then someone's like, hey, I've got something to say. I think you should pick Pine. He's really bad. And Vaughn's like question mark face. And Pine's like, no, why would you pick me? You know I'm freaking good. I'm going to beat you down. And then he picks Pine anyway, and Pine gets slapped in the group. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that show was fun. So I did some shit talking with Pine. Now, obviously, I guess I didn't talk about this on stream, but obviously David Kim's game got not announced, but they announced an announcement date, and we're allowed to officially say that we have played it and stuff. Maybe we should talk a bit about that after this game, because slings are showing up right now. This is the Marine first, and it's on the low ground, so we've got some micro to do here to try and save this Marine. A couple of Lings are going to go after the SCV. Marine taking a lot of shots. Love that Ling pull off of the command center to get the Marine as well. Now we're going to go for some SCVs. You get a couple SCVs here. This is already great. A Marine, going to be at least 3 SCVs. Delay on the command center. That's 4 SCVs, I believe. Huge damage done. Finally, the Reaper is here, and that will be a cleanup. But the Reaper having to come all the way back for this. No! Disaster! Another SCV. CC still delayed. The SCVs on the high ground. Ay. Yeah, that is honestly kind of a disaster through and through. This should not have gone too much worse than it did for Bunny. I mean, that is just early damage you're not meant to take. An SCV kill for every Ling made? That is insane value early on in Rainor. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if he went back into gas and he just hits a roach time. Like, he is 100% in a position right now where he can just send roaches and probably win because his opponent has taken such huge economic damage early. I guess the only counter to that is, like, what if you do make those roaches and your opponent does somehow find a way to defend, doubles down on defense, perhaps ramp up into the natural? Maybe then it's like, okay, that's one way to give him the game back. But man, I mean, it's tougher. But I guess to be fair as well, why not just play the macro game when you're going to be so far ahead on economy? Your army is going to be heckin' swarming deeper into the game. So, things to look at, things to think of. Hey, what's up, Piazza? Thank you so much for the 15-month resub on the Prime. Thanks for all you do for us too. Hell yeah, thank you so much for dropping the Prime sub. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Link speed's going to finish. Concussor Shells and a Marauder coming up from Bunny, Roach Roar, and Hatchery. All that coming through. So we're all going to go Roaches, but it's not going to be like a bigger Roach timing like I initially suggested. At least I don't think it is. I mean, Bunny's pretty much just going to be the aggressor here. He's going to bring the fight to Reynor, in which case having the Roaches is going to be incredible. Some Roaches to help you to defend. Yes, please and thank you. That sounds incredible. Whoa, look at this, man. Reynor with the raid. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Watching some Scrub Zerg try to qualify for GSL, the toughest competition in the world. This kid just thinks he can hop over to Korea and win the whole thing. Yeah, something like that. Thanks to the raid mates. We've just seen you slap down 6 SCVs early in this game, and this very much so seems like you should hold this attack because, well, yeah. I mean, the armor is coming up. Again, I don't really agree with this attack. I mean, this is the kind of attack, I guess, which works when maybe if Reynor was like overly greedy, but he doesn't need to be overly greedy because he's already far enough ahead as though he was greedy. So realistically, I actually don't think this works out for Bunny. But I mean, I guess Bunny's logic is also like, man, if I do something soon, at least I'm not going to get outdone in the macro game because, let's face it, I'm extremely behind. So maybe that's just what he has to play for. Maybe there's just no right choice for Bunny. Playing the macro game seems bad. Trying to do something feels bad. Losing 6 SCVs to 6 Lings is just not how it's meant to be early in the game, right? So, yeah. Let's see if these Hellbats can do much. This Marauders is one of the most committed Hellbat attacks you can have, so it gives you the most possible chance of actually making this work out. As the Lings, the Queens, the Roaches, bit of everything playing the defense. I mean, we defend this with the Lair on the way, drones in production, Rainor holds comfortably. And that is going to be Reynor running out on his first series. And, well, I say first series. The first series we cast, obviously, we do not have